Hello and welcome to this teacher tips video where we like to share some insight on how to best lead this project with your own students. This project is one of the students' favorites, especially during the testing portion. So the goal by the end of this video is to get you comfortable and confident to help lead a successful experience for both you and the kids. This activity does typically span 2 days or around 2 hours worth of programming, especially if you take advantage of some of our supplemental curriculum and resources, but it can be compressed down into 1 hour if you go for the alternate route, which we'll talk more about later in this video. As far as the videos that we put together go, we strongly recommend that you go ahead and watch those beforehand to familiarize yourself with the project. And take some mental notes of where those videos pause so you can be prepared to ask those inquiry-based learning questions that we pose to the kids. And when those videos are all done, we recommend that you display the gallery section of the project page onto the projector or screen so the kids can see some examples as they're building. As far as some tips go when they're building and testing, we can start with what we just mentioned. This activity can be compressed down into a shorter time window if the students elect to go with the stacked cup method for their base. However, we do like to typically see them be creative and see what they can come up with instead of just stacking the cups. That is a great option though if you might be working with a younger crowd or want to avoid the hot glue as much as possible. Another item to quickly take notice of is oftentimes when students put their skewers into the cork, they sometimes fall out. What we like to do to combat this is have them stick them in there nice and firm, give them a twist, and then drop just a little bit of a hot glue dot in there to help make sure the bond is nice and strong. We mentioned in that third video that the students can completely customize the blades of their wind turbine. However, with that being said, don't let them do more than about 5 or 6. At that point, it gets redundant and unnecessary. Plus, it won't function as well. Plus, the students who do tend to try to put 8 or 10 blades on there often fall behind in the project, time-wise. While we are on the topic of those blades, no matter how many they do decide to end up using, try to make sure that they're as evenly spaced as possible. Finally, when it does come to the size, number, and shape of those blades, when in doubt, refer to examples from the videos and on the website. Engineers make wind turbines the way they do for a reason. It's because they work the best that way. The student's turbine will not work when they are testing it if all the blades are really far away from the center. So try to make sure they're all nice and close, relatively, and also that they're angled the same way. That part is very important. For whoever is operating the hairdryer when it comes to testing, have them angle it at different positions and orientations to have the students' wind turbines function. And when they're adding the rock, start with a little bit, and if the trial is successful, that's when you can add more and more until it's not working anymore. For the sake of some fun discussion while the project is going on, you can always ask students questions like, have you ever done something like this before? Have you ever seen a wind turbine from your car before? Do you remember what the purpose of wind turbines are? And you can even try to stir up some competitive spirit, like who thinks their wind turbine will hold the most pebbles, and that kind of thing. On the material side of things, the contents inside the wind turbine bin are relatively straightforward. While the videos are playing, we recommend laying them out in a buffet style towards the back of the room that students can come up with once they're done watching the videos, grab it, and bring it back to their workspace to get started. If the project happens to be running a little early and you need some ideas for how to fill in the time, no worries. Here's some tips. And the same thing goes for if you're running late. Here's some ideas for how to speed up the process but still stay on task. When cleaning up, go ahead and put any unused or reusable items back in the bin so we can get them back and recycle them for future projects if necessary. And super quickly on safety, there's not a ton here, but please just make sure students are being respectful to one another and using common sense when working with supplies like the hot glue gun. We ask that they use the gloves and the newspaper sheets that we provide, so that way we avoid any potential injuries and stay respectful to the classroom. So thank you so much for your time and for all that you do for these students. If after watching this video or any of our other wind turbine videos you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Like we said towards the beginning, we want you to feel comfortable and confident going into this project so it's a fun and successful one for everybody.